like you said, not all stress is bad, but in a stress system, is adding something like coffee that can induce a stress-like state, a cortisol response, is that a good or bad thing? What's the Ray Peat view on coffee, the benefits? Why should we have it with sugar? All of that conversation is fascinating.
Yeah, it's a great question. Obviously, I love coffee too. I think coffee is a great food, or I refer to it as like a supplement, whatever you want to call
Mm,
it. Um, it can work very thyroid promoting, and what that means is it improves how well your body takes up glucose. So it speeds things up. It's a thermogenic. And for somebody that's already stressed and is already having a hard time producing energy and is already in that stress cycle, that probably means there's not enough glucose coming into the system, or there's an energy block that's hindering it from getting into the cell. And so giving something that's try to speed that up, and they can't because either there's a nutrient deficiency or whatever else is going on, all it's going to do is exacerbate the problem
mm,
because their body, the foundation isn't available, right? You're speeding up the conveyor belt, but we don't have the workers there. So it's not going to work, right? So that's why if someone hasn't been consuming coffee and they're having energy issues, whether they maybe feel fatigued or wired or whatever it is, those are very closely related, then we have to work on that part first and go, well, look, we need to build you a better breakfast. We need to make sure that your body knows you have enough fuel sources coming in. Okay, we're giving you these foods, but you still don't feel energized from them and you're gaining weight. Okay, then something's missing here. Whether there is there a GI problem? Are you having sleep problems? Are you, is the foods that we're eating, there's not enough nutrition in them. We need to make sure that we're adding those in there because there's like a lot of workers aren't there, right? It's always asking additional questions like if something that should be working isn't working, why? And then again, it's all then experimentation.
mm.
Okay, we're going to try it. So I personally like to give people like 4 or 5 things to do. We're going to try those things and we're going to do them consistently. Because if we have 50 variables, I have no idea what is doing what with you.
Right.
And I am personally am about trying to do the least to get the most result. And so if we don't have to do 20 things, and I don't want to do 20 things. We might eventually, but I want to be able to do it in a pace that we actually know what's working for you. And so again, going back to coffee, coffee is a great thermogenic. It makes us utilize glucose faster. So it can make actually people become better energized if the resources are there.
Mm.
And that's why some people can drink coffee right before they go to bed and it makes them sleep great because all it does is facilitate their metabolism improving. They have enough fuel coming in, it puts them into a deep sleep, no problem. For someone that's very sensitive, isn't maybe utilizing glucose as well, is running on, just running, not eating enough breakfast, not eating enough food, not eating enough carbohydrates, and then they add coffee in, it probably is just going to make them feel even worse. And so, and coming from what you said, sometimes the answer is, well, were they drinking black coffee? Okay, well, can we add some calories to that? And will that be the thing that helps?
Mm.
Right? Sometimes just adding some milk and sugar, and that does the trick. Like, oh, that feels way better. Sometimes it's they need to eat first and then do the coffee, or maybe just eat and drink the coffee with their food, and that seems to work for them. Some can't do it at all. Their system is too sensitive. Their body is too on edge, and so those things just don't can't be used right now. Could they maybe in 6 months? Sure. Definitely seen people who couldn't do any coffee at all now can drink a couple cups a day, totally fine, no problem. Right. So we don't want to get into the camps where you go on social media, coffee raises cortisol, it's going to kill you, right? Horrible thing, blah, blah, blah. And then there are others like 6 cups of coffee has been shown to
Mm-hmm.
decrease thyroid, I mean, to drink thyroid cancers. And both can be true, but depending on the context. And
Mm.
so you just kind of have coffee can be very beneficial for individuals and it does have so many health promoting effects to it, but it also in the wrong individual can make them feel worse. And so we have to just understand where we're coming from and not also be married to the fact that just because I can't do coffee now doesn't mean if I don't improve other things I can't do it later, because you could. And if because there is so many health promoting effects, we want to get you to that place.
Right.
The same thing with something like dairy. They're like, I don't tolerate dairy at all. I'm like, well, did you ever tolerate dairy? Well, yes, when I was 10 and then I didn't drink it for 10 years and now I don't tolerate it. I go, okay, well, there could be reasons for that. And yes, your body will probably not tolerate it after 10 years of giving it up. But there's ways for us to get it back into your life, slow and steady. Try different brands, go and then over time, then that person can adapt to utilizing dairy again. And again, we want someone to be able to utilize dairy, and solely because when someone does tolerate dairy well, it's easy to digest. It's filled with nutrition. There's no anti-nutrients in it. It's got carbs, it's got fat, it's got protein. It's an easy food to consume. It's high in calcium. So there's so many good benefits for that food. But if you aren't tolerating it, no, we don't want you to just push milk in you and feel crappy the whole time. There's no reason to do that. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that other things are fixed first, and then we may add it in at a later date.
There's that nuance again, huh? Look at that. It's
I know.
I like how you framed caffeine as a supplement. It sounds to me like it's like an amplifier. And if you're going to amplify a high energy abundant state, then it's just additive, and it's going to give you a lot of those perceived benefits, and the benefits, the reason that I drink, 2 to 3 cups a day and love it and feel great on it and have no problems. But if I was amplifying, chronic burnout and fight or flight, it's probably not going to work with my system very well.
Hey, before you go anywhere, listen up. I've got a special announcement. Mark your calendars for this one. November 22nd. Heart and Soil is dropping a new documentary called Fed a Lie. This is going to be the documentary on seed oils. The end, the nail in the coffin. Expect to hear from experts like Dr. Paul Saladino, Nina Teicholz, Dr. Chris Kenobi, even superstars like Bethany Hamilton, as we gathered the big dogs to put an end to the seed oil madness. If you want to check that out, go to Heart and Soil's YouTube, subscribe, and go to fedalie.film, plug in your details, and we will make sure you get the link as soon as that goes live so you can spread it far and wide. This will be an incredible conversation starter at the family table over the holidays, and it will be you helping us to spread this message of radical health and be a part of the healthy revolution. And as always, thank you for being here. If you like the show, please like it, subscribe it, and share it. Help us to spread this message of radical health. And we'll see you next week. Big love.